we see three main trends in residential living. Urbanization, people want to live in the city centers instead of living in the suburbs like their parents. They are more international than ever, changing their countries for study or work purposes. And in the end, these international people also move to bigger urban areas like San Francisco, New York, London, etc. And this results in the housing scarcity problem, housing crisis in all of these big cities. Tech people responded with three main business models. One of them was shared apartment startups like Spare Room, Easy Roommate. Second one was online marketplaces like Airbnb or Spotahome, which allowed you to book your next apartment in the other side of the world through, fully from online. And the latest one is the co-living projects, basically dormitory concepts for young professionals, buildings like Star City, Hub House, We Live is some examples. And as far as we know, there are more than 800 web companies that fall into these three business models. And the selection of logos that you see here, they are already partnering with NESTPICK, and we are currently partnering with more than 100 of these 800 platforms as a meta search. We are a meta search platform like kayak.com, focusing on 1 month and above stays, offering fully furnished apartments and rooms, like type of accommodation that you can move in with your luggage. We are initially targeting expats, corporate travelers, international students, but we believe that this can be one of the main ways of living for the younger generation because people cannot afford to buy apartments anymore, so they end up being a renter. So why do a 3-year lease and buy 5 to 10 grand worth of furniture if you want to be flexible, if you want to be mobile, changing your countries, and if you have relevant options for that. And when that time comes in and this becomes one of the major ways of living, you want to be the dominant platform globally for on-demand housing. Currently, our users are finding our platform usually through online channels. We are delivering them relevant homes through our ML-based search result algorithms and top-notch UX that we use to our, that we offer to our users. And they complete their leases online, usually on the partner platform, just like kayak.com or Skyscanner or Trivago. We've been growing rapidly. It's been more than 2.5 years since we started. We are 2.5 times bigger than 2 years ago, 3.5 times bigger than last year, and our unpaid visits is growing even more. Last month, we had almost 1.5 million users visiting our website. And the total market that we target for these foreigner stays is around $67 million, and we can capture up to $4 billion in the offline market. And coincidentally, more than 40% of all these international people are moving to top 30 urban areas in the world. And we want to win these markets first before we become a truly global marketplace. And we are already in all of these markets except Hong Kong, which is more like a Chinese dominant platform, and we don't have our Chinese website. The partners that we aggregate, the websites that we aggregate, aside from Airbnb and HomeAway, have raised more than $500 million in the past 15 months. And big name VCs like Kleiner Perkins and Besana Venture Partners have already invested in this market. In terms of competitive landscape, for the shorter term stays and longer term stays, there's established players that offer high quality inventory. Our main competitor is Craigslist, the incumbent in this in between 1 month to 1 year stays, and we want to differentiate ourselves by offering verified and vetted inventory and establishing a trust factor with the users, because we all know that there are many fraudster landlords in Craigslist, as it's an open-ended C2C website. We've been growing rapidly, and we just looked into the big benchmarks growth tracks. If we achieve the same penetration that Kayak has in flights or Trivago has in hotels, we make more than $50 million a year. And last month, we made more than $250,000 in net revenue. With my co-founder, we built another startup back in Turkey, exited, and then moved to Berlin to build NESTPICK. And nowadays, like 6 or 7 months ago, I moved to San Francisco to open our US offices. Nowadays, we are raising a round of $12 million to invest in branding, scale further in US market. We have an acquisition target, a website in US that we will continue with an M&A. and we will start targeting Chinese people, whom cover 40% of all international students. Thank you very much. If you are interested, I'm happy to solve. If you are looking for an apartment, please use the website. Send me an email with feedbacks. That's really important for me. We are currently aggregating more than 25 different websites in San Francisco, so we already have the best inventory in the Bay Area. So would love to hear your feedback.